that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Let's take the avatar off here. There we go. All right. Apologize for the mess up right there, but this is the Indy Kid coming at you. This is the Talkin VAWLS podcast. Tennessee finishes off Liberty 3-1 to advance to the Super Regionals next week. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you hit subscribe. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're looking at about 50 people in right now. But, yeah, we're going to the Supers. And before we get in this, just want to hit this super chat real quick. Appreciate Donovan. Donovan's been super generous to us. And, man, can't stress how much I appreciate him. He says, let's get this win. I won't be able to watch a post-game show, work third shift, but I always drop by. Yeah, he absolutely does. And super generous. We appreciate you, Donovan. Appreciate you tuning in. As you're, definitely there all the time. But Tennessee moves on 3-1, sweeps arguably the hardest bracket that was out there this weekend. I don't think there's any doubt it was one of, if not the toughest bracket. I wanted to hear what Tony Vitello had to say post-game before I went live right here. And, some of his comments were pretty interesting as he made mention he had to answer questions about the bracket all week, and it just kind of made him more angry. And it was a tough bracket right there. I would argue to say there was, at worst, there were no 4 seeds in that bracket. At worst, maybe a 3, but Liberty's a good baseball team. Wright State was a good baseball team, and Duke was a baseball game. But heck of a night. Tonight wasn't the offensive outburst we've seen all week. This was more of a pitcher's duel tonight. And, just what I appreciate about this team, they can beat you in a slugfest. They can beat you in a pitcher's duel either way. And, hats off to Will Heflin. Pitched one of, if not his best games of the year tonight. I can't think of recently a better game that he's pitched. He got into the 6th inning, and then Sean Hunley come in, and he got the job done. Took care of business right there. And this is what Tony Vitello, we've played it before, but want to play this as well in regard to Hunley.
Again, credit to their guy, but I'll live and die with our guy, Sean Hunley, any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, there you go. He went to Sean Hunley. He made mention that Sean Hunley and Will Heflin are best friends, and that he had not handed off to Hunley at any point. So Vitello felt pretty good there. Felt there'd be some adrenaline there. Felt that it would go pretty well there, and obviously it did. So pretty cool moment there. Let me hit this super chat. Robert 45 Tennessee $5. Thank you so much, Robert. Is Tennessee one of the favorites to win it all now? I think they are. I'm not saying they are the favorite, but they're going to be hard to put out. They are going to be hard to put out of this thing. I don't think there's any doubt about it. If you're going to get through Tennessee, you're going to have to bring it. And you saw it Friday night. I said it Friday night when I made the video after the game that I really felt with that Drew Gilbert blast that still hasn't landed yet. And he had another one tonight that hasn't landed yet either. But I felt the curse of Tennessee athletics was lifted with that bomb Friday night because it wasn't looking good. And I want to send a shout out to Wright State's head coach for making the move When he pulled Lukert Friday night, who was mowing Tennessee down, he gave Tennessee a shot. And, I've kind of tooted my own horn on this all week, but I said it when I previewed the Wright State region that I felt that where you was going to get them, they looked pretty impressive on paper. Didn't know if it was a case of, who they faced or what have you. But their lineup was just solid on paper. Pitching looked decent, but I wondered about that bullpen. They had their top saves guy had 5 saves. That was the Haft guy, Tristan Haft, I think was his name, that started the 9th inning. And, how are you going to react in that situation? How are you going to react when the adrenaline's pumping, when you've got to get those outs? Because he hadn't been in that situation. I don't know that he'd been in it recently because I looked at their scores and they'd just been demolishing teams. So probably his situations he had pitched had been non-pressure situations right there, no doubt. But let's see, wanted to hit one of the John Stinson and joined from Dubai. Appreciate you tuning in, John. Not sure what time it is over there right now, but I know it's not 9:47 p.m. Eastern time. But appreciate you tuning in. Let's see. See that somersault he did after the interview? I did not see that. Somebody asked about Tony Vitello Friday night when that bomb was hit. I didn't notice it at first because I was watching the Drew Gilbert bat flip, but then you see Tony, and he mentioned it after the game tonight, said he probably looked like a 6 or 7-year-old. I would have done the same thing. There is absolutely no doubt about it. In a situation like that, you can't blame anybody for showing any emotion. You can't blame anybody for the emotion there. And, I've seen people on Twitter saying, act like you've been there before. They haven't been there before. That's the thing of it. You hit a grand slam in the regionals after the way that game, some of the stuff that happened in that game, you hit a just massive grand slam to win it. Anybody just sits there or, there's probably guys that maybe they just run around the bases, but man, come on. If you're one of those that says act like you've been there before, go watch something else, man. Come on, let the guys have fun. And if that would have been Wright State did it, same thing. It can't be one way, not the other. What I love about college baseball is just, and you see it in SEC games, man, these teams get fired up. They come to play. They enjoy playing the game. And, what do you expect? They play the game the way it should be played. And hats off to all these teams for showing emotion, not just Tennessee, but, Wright State or whomever, but just fantastic right there. John, 5:45 a.m. Thank you, John, again for tuning in. Yeah, Chris Ward, bro, umpire tonight sucked for both sides already. How you supposed to know what a strike is? Yeah, man, it's crazy tonight. I know one in particular in the 8th inning, Hundley, I think it was the second batter. Let's see, what was the count? Maybe 2-1 or maybe 1-1. I can't remember, but he threw. It was probably a little over belt high, maybe close on the outside. Umpire called it a strike. The very next pitch in the exact same spot, it couldn't have been in a different place, calls it a strike right there. It's just it was both sides. There's no doubt. Heflin's last pitch, the announcers were kind of questioning it. That to me looked like a perfect strike. And the batter for Liberty had a heck of an at-bat right there. Went 13 pitches, and that was just a battle. But Heflin come back, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with that pitch. And the batter had nothing to complain about. If he would have did his job and got the bunt down to begin with, he wouldn't have been in that situation. And I really felt Liberty was getting some momentum at that point. They started off the inning with a double, got another guy on, and then they got the run in from third, and the announcers were questioning why Heflin didn't let it go. I don't think the ball was going foul. And, he made a gutsy play right there when he turned and threw it home. Almost had the guy, good call. The guy was safe. There's no doubt he beat the throw, but he made it a lot closer than it could have been right there. And, just hats off on that. And then he bounced back, got that strikeout, and I thought it was the perfect time when Vitello pulled him. He was at 97 pitches. It just been a big at bat right there, going 13 pitches. And, again, hats off to Will Heflin. He stepped up tonight. Boogie and I talked last week. Who do you go with in that third game? And it was pretty evident after last night when Camden Sewell come in and pitched late into the game. It was pretty evident right there or Camden Sewell actually closed it last night. So it was pretty evident that Heflin was going today. And I think there's a good chance Sewell would have went tomorrow if needed. But thankfully, we don't have to go to that game. And some people are asking who's Tennessee going to play next week. It will be the winner of Oregon and LSU. LSU actually, let's see, they went to 10 innings yesterday against Central Connecticut, and then they come back and put Gonzaga out today. So I'm curious to see what happens. Michael, I have not scouted Oregon yet. I watched them a little bit last night. I set up until I really couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. Them and Gonzaga, Oregon was hitting the ball well. And, they were talking about Gonzaga was really close to being a top seed in a regional, but I think it was their tournament maybe that if they had maybe not a great showing, or San Diego may have beaten them, I think it was, and cost them the game. But, yeah, I agree, Troy. Oregon's a decent team, no doubt. I mean, they're top seed in a regional. But, yeah, you play the SEC, you've played better right there. Nothing against Oregon. And who knows, maybe Oregon comes in and beats Tennessee next week if it happens. But we'll see. Or LSU's playing. They got out, they kept from getting eliminated yesterday. They, they handled Gonzaga this afternoon. So, that Oregon LSU game should be getting ready to go here in about 10 minutes. And so I think from what I gather, it will be next Friday that the Tennessee-Oregon series will start. Maybe wrong on that. Maybe it's Saturday. But the good thing about it, Tennessee swept through, again, I said it, a difficult region, probably the most difficult region in the whole tournament. And they didn't have to overthrow anyone. They didn't, because I really think if it would have come back till tomorrow, it would have been all hands on deck. You may have seen, I don't know if you would have started Sewell or if possibly Chad Dallas may have come back and started tomorrow, or could either Tidwell have started tomorrow. I would have been really curious to see where Tony would have went with that. But you've got everybody in check. You've got everybody ready to go next weekend. And I fully suspect you'll see the same rotation you saw this weekend. I think you'll see Dallas go the first game, then Tidwell. My hope is you don't have to go past that. Hopefully Tennessee, whether it's Oregon or LSU, hopefully Tennessee wins 2 and done, 2 and barbecue, and they are going on to Omaha right there. But, it's we'll see where they're at. I said it before in some of our Arkansas, I've seen people saying Arkansas, they're having trouble with Arkansas fans. We've got a couple guys that comes into the chat here that's pretty cool dudes that are Arkansas fans. So, with them, I'd like to – there's a part of me that like to see Tennessee and Arkansas. I'm going to be honest, my perfect scenario, though, if Tennessee's going to win the College World Series, obviously I'm not picky as to who they beat, but perfect scenario, I would love to beat Vanderbilt. There's no doubt about it. Vanderbilt's actually down 3-1 to Georgia Tech right now. So we'll see what happens right here with it. Vandy just stole third. They've got 2 outs. Really, really interesting call right there to steal the base, but is what it is right there, trying to get something going. But, we'll see. I like Tennessee's chances to get to Omaha. I felt Friday night that was just the weight lifted off of them. I mean, it was you had the ball hit off of Jordan Beck right there and went out. And I know people were just saying that this is Tennessee for you. And you had to think that a little bit, and especially, some of the base running got thrown out at home, had, a wide throw, and Durkay turned around and got put out in a rundown. But I just can't help but think that was one of those things. Again, I don't know that Tennessee wins it. I think it's still going to have to go through Arkansas. They've shown they're the best team this year. You can't argue that at all. But Tennessee's a top 2, if not top 3. They're top 3 at worst, I think. And I don't know about Texas. I had somebody on one of our live chats trying to argue with me about Texas. Texas is number 2. That's what I can tell you. No, they don't play the SEC, but they have been taking care of business this weekend, doing what they're supposed to. And I think I saw they're playing Arizona State. And if they win tonight, they'll go to the Super Regionals next week. But Tennessee, hopefully we'll find out, because I think from what I gather, Tennessee and Texas will be on the same side of the bracket right there. So it should be let's see, I'm trying to think how it's set up. I would normally say 1, 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5, but that's not – I think it's already preset who will play who. Even if, Oregon or LSU were to come in and beat Tennessee, I think it comes in that one of those guys will stay in Tennessee's spot going like in a 3 seed there. But, Arkansas's up 3-1 right now. Yep, I agree with this, Michael. Pitchers are fresh next weekend. Dallas didn't have his best effort Friday night, but that was a tough team that Dallas faced Friday night. And I think the one downfall with Chad Dallas is that he gives up way too many home runs. And that's kind of been his downfall right there, is the home run. So, heck of a pitcher, but that seems to be what gets him right there, is the home runs. Aren't Tennessee and Texas basically? Tennessee's a 3 ranked. Yeah, it was kind of odd. I thought it was very odd right there. I thought it was possible because Texas was – I'm not sure in the polls. I can't remember which one it is, if Tennessee or Texas is second right there. It's about what I expected. I think if Tennessee would have beaten Arkansas last week, they would have been the 2 seed. And I really thought if they lost, they'd be the 3. I think it ended up all right. And, we'll see there. Anderson, there should be 8 super regionals right there. Should be 16 teams left after tomorrow. So, and like Troy said, each of them will be a best of 3 series. So obviously, as you guys know, you win 2 and you're done. And hopefully, best case for Tennessee, Chad Dallas brings it Friday night. And then Tidwell brings it Saturday, or if it's Saturday, Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's Friday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday there. But, 16 teams. And, there's going to be some interesting matchups there. Obviously, Florida got bounced. Florida got destroyed yesterday. And, boo-hoo. Too bad for them. They're gone. They're out. Alabama's out. South Carolina got put out today on their home field. Mississippi, last I saw, Mississippi was down. Somebody can maybe update the score on that. I don't have it pulled up right now. I could pull up on my phone, but maybe look down. No, Mississippi State got delayed. Got to think they're favorites to move on in their regional. Curious to see LSU with Oregon tonight. Is LSU getting hot at the right time? Or, what happened there? And again, it's tough to beat a team twice, though. It's Aaron, it is not win or go home. I think it's double elimination as well, depending on the side of the bracket. From what I remember on it, the 2 brackets are split. So from what I gather, Tennessee will not see Arkansas nor Vanderbilt until the final. That's the only way they would see them. So it would be potentially like Tennessee, Texas, and 2 more teams, if Tennessee gets there, if Texas gets there. And it is double elimination. So whoever comes out, and then once it gets to the final, I think the final now is best of 3. Used to it was 1 game. I believe it is a best of 3 series as well. Ole Miss losing to Southern Miss. That was last I'd seen. And there was people picked Dallas Baptist to knock TCU out. Dallas Baptist is a sneaky team. They're a good baseball program. And I don't know much about the school or anything, but they've been around for a few years now. They are a strong baseball program. And, that's one thing I love about college baseball is I feel it's your bigger teams, they are what they are, but there's a lot of level playing field with the scholarship output and stuff, because there's not full scholarships everywhere. And, you know, I make jokes about the Vandy Fund. I don't think Vanderbilt's players are getting scholarships. From what I've read, and I've tried to research the Vandy Fund, it's to try to even it out because it's private school. It is expensive. And, you know, from what I gather, it kind of levels the playing field. That's what I've read on it. I don't know if that's totally the case. I don't know if there's some unfair advantage there, but, you know, obviously Vanderbilt's built a powerhouse program down there, and, you know, can't stand them. And, but it is what it is. They're kind of the Alabama college baseball, and you got to tip your hat to them. And if Vanderbilt's to get to the College World Series with their pitchers, they're going to be hard to beat in a 2 out of 3 series. But, you know, right now, Vanderbilt, we're looking at they just doubled. I'm not sure if they're down 3-2 right now. But you got to I like Tennessee's chances. They got through, you know, a very difficult region. I honestly thought, I said last night on the video, I thought we would see Duke today. But, man, Liberty hammered Duke twice this weekend. And Duke was red hot coming in. I was glad Duke put Wright State out. Didn't want Wright State again. Didn't want to see them again. I thought they were a real good team, Wright State, and they were not a 4 seed. They were definitely not a 4 seed. Tony Vitello said it. Many people have said it. Based on their RPI, they could have easily been a 2 seed. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Liberty, I think, could have been a borderline 2. Duke was obviously the 2 in the region. So I don't know how the NCAA come up with these brackets around, because I know some of it, they say that they kind of do it to try to keep teams closer to home, but they totally defeat that point with the Oregon region, because you got Oregon and Gonzaga. They're both obviously out in the Pacific Northwest, but LSU isn't. Central Connecticut isn't. You totally lost the logic right there with that one. And so, I mean, which is it? Are you trying to keep fans closer to home, or are you not? It needs to be 1 versus 64, 2 versus 63, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not rocket science. And it's just not. And like many times, though, with the NCAA, apparently it is. Just like I had a problem last night with Tennessee being the visiting team as the number 1 team in the region. There's no point that the top team in the region should be the visitor. And just like right now, Vanderbilt's the visitor tonight. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's a joke. They've earned that home field advantage right there. It's not right. It's a joke. The host, you know, you're defeating the purpose of the regular season in terms of that. And, of course, we see MLB do it. They put home field on the line with the All-Star game, which is ridiculous as well. But, you know, I think the term is, well, it gives both teams a fair advantage right there. It's not supposed to. The team that has earned the home field has earned it. I mean, the only one that should be a visitor in this case was South Carolina this weekend when they played Old Dominion, because Old Dominion was the 1 seed because they did not bid to host the region. So, therefore, it went to Columbia and South Carolina. That's the only case I can see for it. Other than that, your 1 seed should be home throughout it. 2 seeds should be home against any time they play 3, 4, and so on. I just don't get that. And but it didn't matter. And, you know, somebody sent a video last night and made a good point. With Tennessee batting first, that enabled Liam Spence to get them going right off the bat with the home runs. But just kind of talk about the offense some this weekend. Drew Gilbert come to life, man. Obviously, you know, 3 home runs, homer in each game this weekend. Mammoth bomb Friday night. I don't know if you guys saw the one he hit tonight. It cleared the scoreboard out there. It was a bomb as well. Last night he hit one not quite dead center, but it was still a long shot as well. Gritty, tough win tonight. Max Ferguson was big, getting on a couple times. He enabled them to get those runs. He got on base, and then Rucker drove him in. And then pretty sure he was on base when Gilbert homered as well. And that home run was big because it was 1-0 time. Pushed it to 3-0, gave them that little bit of breathing room, and then Liberty come back in and got a run and were threatening until Heflin stepped up and got that strikeout. So there were some guys, I think, that underperformed this weekend, and then there were some guys that, really stepped up. Luke Lipsius had a big weekend, swinging a hot bat right now. Spence got going, had some good games. Ferguson, I mean, he just finds a way to get on a lot of times, whether it's a hit. I think he got hit by a pitch twice tonight, if I'm not mistaken. He just finds a way to get on base. Rucker, he had a big hit. He didn't have the best weekend hitting, but, he was on Friday night when Gilbert was able to hit that walk-off bomb. He had a big hit tonight that got the opening score going. Gilbert had a big weekend. He hit some hard balls this weekend. He had a strikeout Friday night that I still say was an absolute ripoff. Got hit in the elbow, and then it got retracted and called a strike. Like the announcer said, he made his move in the box, and then he doesn't have to – not if the pitch is coming at you, you don't have to move. If he sticks his elbow out or something, that's one thing. But and then it become a strikeout. It was the umpiring this weekend was it was very erratic. It was very inconsistent. I don't know if college is adapting the major league strike zone where you basically got to throw it down the middle or what, but I was definitely not impressed with the strike zone. And it was both ways. It was definitely both ways tonight. I felt it was both ways in each of the games this weekend. Liberty had some beefs. Obviously, both their coaches got tossed last night. The two pitches that they got tossed on, I just didn't think they were worth getting tossed because the guy that struck out, they said the coach was asking, was it a check swing or was it just a strike? I don't agree with them getting tossed on that one, but I don't know. I'm not there to know what was said. Right? Let me hit this super chat. Daddy, absolutely. $9.99 Evan counts. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate you. Daddy, absolutely. Got to see the daddy hat quite a bit this weekend. All in all, Tennessee hit, they hit a lot, 7 or 8 home runs this weekend? Probably, I would be curious to see how it matches up in their all-time tournaments. Has to be, I know they said a single game last night, but I'm not sure for the weekend there. Yeah, Ted, again, thank you, Evan. Appreciate your $9.99 contribution. You guys are way generous, and we cannot thank you enough. So, Ted Wilson, you're spot on. Terrible umps all 3 games. Yeah, they were. The guy last night started kind of getting an attitude everywhere. I think he got one to Evan Russell in the last inning. Obviously, he tossed Liberty's head coach. He tossed their pitching coach. I don't know why Liberty's pitching coach got tossed. I don't know what happened right there. My speculation on that was that Liberty's pitcher thought I don't know if he just he jumped up and down. I don't know if he thought he had a third strike or if he just that Durkee didn't bite on it. It was a great pitch. It wasn't a strike. But, it was, not every great pitch is a strike. And he had gotten him to bite on that pitch before, but Durkee didn't. The pitcher should have had no beef with that being a strike because it wasn't close as far as that goes. But, I don't know. Again, I don't know why they got tossed. I just think the guy last night had an attitude that's the umpire. He's one of those guys. He wanted to be the show. He didn't want to be shown up. And, I know Friday night, I guess Tony, he got written up because the umpire pulled his notebook out and stuff. So I don't know. That's, the umpires are there to call the games. They're not there to be the show. It happens in major leagues. And, I get the arguing balls and strikes and things of that nature, but I don't know. I've dealt with it at, down the level I've coached before. it always pisses me off when you hear an umpire when you're getting ready to go to the game and they say, first thing, we're not going to argue balls and strikes. Well, do your job, and people are not arguing balls and strikes. Be consistent both ways. And I think, even though umpires miss calls and stuff, maybe, it's one thing if it's both ways. But, sometimes it gets a little one way or another right there. I don't know. But, do your job, umpires. Call it consistent. Again, I referred to the 8th inning. Hundley threw one pitch. It was a ball, and he threw it in the exact same spot on the next pitch, and it was a strike. The announcer even alluded to it. Exact same spot, right? You got – I don't know, man. It is what it is, I guess. But David, our super regional, will be either against Oregon or LSU. Oregon or LSU. Anderson, how we donate. I will be honest, I don't know all the whole answers to that. I know something maybe with being a member. I apologize that I probably should know that, but I do not. But I appreciate your consideration. Appreciate you tuning in. JP is taking he decided he needed to step away for a while. We'll miss him. Definitely miss him. I was looking forward to doing the fall. I haven't done the football post-game shows. He'll definitely be missed around here, but he just said his passion wasn't there and to do it right now. And I understand. I was there a couple years ago when I was on first time. It just kind of got exhausting with Tennessee athletics and, just other things going on in life. And sometimes that takes precedent. And just want to address, too, I should have did this earlier. Was kind of caught up in the game and stuff. But Boogie planned to be here tonight. Any of you guys out there that have pets, my wife and I have them. We've had to have them put down stuff. One of Boogie's pets is not doing too well. And, most people with pets, they get very attached to them. And I know it's tough. They're just kind of waiting, and it just wasn't something to do tonight. So, thoughts and hang in there, Boogie. I understand. We've had when we move, we don't have actual kids. We've had pets our whole life, and we've had to have more than we wanted to put down here in the last year and a half. And it's tough stuff, but thoughts and prayers are with Boogie, and I'll say prayers because I know how hard it is to lose a pet. And so I know he'd love to be here tonight, but, I know if it was me in that situation, it was one of mine like that, I wouldn't have been here either. So, I appreciate him doing what he needs to do tonight, and he'll be back later this week with that as well. But let's see where we go from here. I'm trying to see if they put up any video, if they've maybe put up Tony V's presser. Don't see anything in there right now. We saw him a little bit after the game tonight. He talked about it. Just he said he liked how I think he kind of sat back and watched the team go out and celebrate. He said it was nice to go out and watch him celebrate, but he said, he made mention they looked like a team who was going out to they expected to go out and win. They didn't act surprised or anything like that. So it's that was cool. He kind of mentioned the walk-off Friday night. Kind of mentioned how it's just really a hectic week with the Arkansas game last week, having to regroup, get ready to play, answer all the media questions this week about the bracket and things of that nature. And, I'm sure he's probably exhausted and sick to death of doing that. But, one thing, I don't think that bracket was fair to numerous teams. But if you're Tennessee and you're playing, you've got a bracket with 3 tough teams right there. But, their goal was to go to Omaha and win it. That's the goal. It's realistic. Again, I'm not sitting here saying they're the favorite. I'm not saying they will win it. They've got a legit chance at it, though. They really do. They're a hard team to beat more than once. It only happened, a couple times this year. They lost series. So, yeah, I like their chances if they get to Omaha. I like what they've got, especially if they continue to be able to save their pitching like they have this weekend. And I think it was big for Sean Hunley tonight. He bounced back. He's had some tough outings here recently. He got hit pretty hard last weekend against Arkansas. He came in Friday night against Wright State, throwing really well, and then they hit him hard. And that's where they took the lead. Come out and took the lead off of Hunley, but he was on tonight. He had it going, threw good stuff right there. And, I was glad to see him finish it out as well. I kind of wondered if they would stick with him in the ninth or if they would maybe have Redmond Walsh up. I think that was going to be that's the way they would have went right there. Anderson, new member. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you listening to us. David Smith, absolutely. Tennessee hosts the Super Regional. Got to think Lindsey Nelson is going to be rocking next weekend. And wished I had a way to show a video. A buddy of mine Friday night was at the game, and he actually got video of Drew Gilbert. He was down the first baseline down that way, and pretty cool video. You got to see the place go nuts right there. A good atmosphere down there, and that atmosphere is going to be big, guys. And because we've talked about it, there's going to be decisions when we get to the off season. There's going to be decisions, and guys have said it before that cover Tennessee. I've seen it said. I can't remember who said it, but I know Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball is it sounds to me like he's thinking, I don't want to, put words in his mouth I don't want to take him out of context because I don't know the exact quote or anything, but he's leaning towards thinking Tony Vitello stays. And again, Boogie and I have talked about this whole time. It's going to be much deeper than just extension of money. I think that's going to be the easiest part of it right there. They're going to extend Tony Vitello, and they're going to give him a raise. That's not in question right there. What is in question, though, is facilities. And Tony Vitello's addressed it. There's other people. I've seen Chris Burke address it. There's others around the program. I think there was it Mike Wilson, Knoxville News? I think it had an article the other day Boogie touched upon. And you can go back and listen to Boogie's video from earlier in the week as well where he talked about Tony White. But, Danny White's on board, and the big money alumni are apparently coming in as well. So are they doing a new stadium, David Smith, or are they just going to looking to upgrade Lindsey Nelson? Because I kind of wonder if that's not the route to go, a new stadium right there. I know they said that they were the administration was touring South Carolina's facilities a couple weeks ago. Guys, I can tell you I went up to the Thursday night and the Saturday games when they played South Carolina. And when they're saying facilities, I don't know if there's other, if there's like weight rooms, things of that nature that they're factoring in as well, if they're just talking about stadiums or what. But South Carolina's stadium is nice. It is very nice. I was impressed with it. The backdrop kind of remind me, any of you guys that's been to a Smokies game where you had the boxes kind of around, but the difference between South Carolina Stadium and the Smokies Stadium, you had the big, like Jumbotron up in left field, and then you had the backdrop in center. But the stadium actually went all the way around because I actually stood – I wished I could show the video at the end when Sean Hunley struck out Eister to end the game against South Carolina. Back over the bullpen right field where they had the K signs, I was actually standing out there watching it. I was able – obviously nobody would have known it other than me standing there, but there were places to stand because they had standing room sections out there. And there was a big set of bleachers up in left field. There were some seats just over the fence, over the wall. You had your bullpens. You had your place in center field. But South Carolina Stadium was super nice. And if they're trying to pattern after that, they're definitely picking a nice one. And that's the only one I've been – the only college stadiums I've been to is South Carolina's and ETSU Thomas Stadium, which that's a nice stadium as well. Obviously, it doesn't have the capacity that somewhere like Tennessee needs. But Tennessee, Lindsey Nelson right now is just seating around 4,000. So, I think Troy and a lot of you guys, Cedric, you make mention upgrade the stadium, getting it louder. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, I mentioned South Carolina Stadium. I think capacity there's about 8,000. So you imagine doubling Lindsey Nelson, especially when Tennessee's rolling like it is right now. They're going to fill that each way. I think since they've gone to 100% capacity, I'm not sure on the weeknight game what the crowd was, but the Arkansas series and here in the regionals, they've had to have all been sellouts. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But yeah, Dave Bryant, I agree with you. Stadium it would have cost you $10 million, now costs about $100 million and stuff if it would have been lumper. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But I know Tony Vitello's mentioned it before how he wants that stadium on campus. It was mentioned about a downtown stadium and things of that nature to try to bring the Smokies back. I think it'd be cool, to play some little. I know they've done some stuff at Smoky Stadium where they've had different teams in the state come in and play, maybe like a weekend series or something. Play different teams, not necessarily a round robin, but just like Tennessee, ETSU, maybe Middle Tennessee. I think Memphis came up once. They all kind of took turns playing one another. I think that'd be really cool to do. But as far as I'm in total agreement with Tony Vitello on this. I think you want your campus to have that stadium. The legends of Lindsey Nelson, they've been awesome this year. When they've been big, they've helped make that a home field advantage. Those guys and girls too are going to be a big reason in Tony Vitello wanting to stay. Obviously, all fans are important down there, but these were kind of the ones that kind of took the bull by the horn. I think it just kind of come up with something they thought maybe they just decided to go, because I kind of read up on some of it, drink them some beer, go down and watch the games, and man, they've been big. And some of these hitters, they have made it absolute living hell on them during games. And that's what a home field advantage should be. You got the LSU coach complaining that they were nasty to him. And has any team ever come into LSU and not had a nasty experience? I mean, that's just part of it. That's the SEC for you. There's limits to it, but if you're just giving them a hard time and this and that, you're just heckling, that's part of it. I mean, for crying out loud, you got the Vandy Whistler out here for years whistling and being annoying. I think the limits are pretty high right there. I actually think I don't see where they benefit going to Knoxville. I think where the Smokies are at is perfect. I think that location is perfect. It's a nice stadium. That's an interesting thought right there, that maybe they build that and another minor league team comes in. That's a very interesting thought. I haven't really heard that. All I've heard is about the Smokies moving down there. But I don't see where the Smokies benefit from that. I think Kodak, of course, that's a big tourist area, and you got to think they benefit from that. Got to hit this one right here. The scoreboard brought to you by the Mouse's Ear. Oh, absolutely. The flames are burning now. So who? Good grief. I like the remodel. Yeah, I have not seen. Supposedly there's plans out there for the remodel of Lindsey Nelson. I just don't know what they are. I don't know if it involves the outside. I saw another picture this weekend when they posted standing room seats only were done. And just that, and that concrete out there looks rough. It just looks run down and stuff. The actual playing field is nice. And I'll be honest, I've never been in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. I've never been to a game there. And I had contemplated going up for the Super Regionals next weekend, but we've had a big weekend this weekend, last week of school coming up this week. A day or two to recruit for summer school. I just don't see it. I'd love to, but maybe next year. I'm curious to see where this program goes, but man, it's so vital that Tony Vitello is kept down there. And I think everybody's on board. And I really think if for some reason Tony Vitello leaves, it will not be for lack of effort from Tennessee. And I don't think he wants to leave. They commit to him with that extension, with that raise, upgrading the stadium. I've said it before. I don't know what the land is like. There's not enough room to expand. I wondered about that, Robert. I wondered about that too. Something I'm curious about. Obviously, you've got the river, and I have not been to Knoxville in a pretty good while, except to go to the Mill and Mine for a couple of concerts. That's really as far in as I've been. But I just wonder somewhere down on the river if there's any property, because how cool would that be if they had river property? And, you could make kind of a San Francisco Giants type park or something. That would be phenomenal. And I don't even know that that's possible, though. I don't know if there's property. And if there is property, I don't know who owns it, how likely they'd be to give that up. I think the most likely scenario, probably for the foreseeable future, is maybe upgrades to Lindsey Nelson. I mean, they had to bring temporary stands in. I would imagine one of the first things is if they're just going to upgrade Lindsey Nelson, you're going to see stands in left field down the third baseline next year. That's my thoughts on it. Again, I don't know the blueprints. I don't know what's happened there, but I don't see, unless they just build a new stadium somewhere close. And again, I don't know what property is available. I don't know where they can make room for it or anything. Brady, Tennessee 3, Liberty 1 tonight. And so that moves Tennessee on. Tennessee swept the region, a very, very difficult region right there. The Oracle Park style idea, Calhoun's on the river would have a new home. Yeah, I wondered about that as well. We've got a stadium down here in Augusta, or actually North Augusta, where the Augusta Green Jackets play. They're the Braves single A team now, and it's actually patterned exactly after the Giants stadium because they were the Giants prior to this year. I think there's some water behind it. I've been there once, but really cool stadium. And obviously, Tennessee's not going to pattern a stadium after the Giants, but you could have a similar type thing with the Tennessee River. Imagine if you got the Vol Navy involved down or something. That could be such a cool atmosphere down there and stuff. But again, I don't know, how likely it is. I don't even know that is possible. So if you're going to build a stadium, build a major league stadium. The funny thing with Tennessee fans, if they put a 20,000 seat stadium down there and this team's winning, Tennessee fans would feel it. There is no doubt in my mind. A lot of these, I know in Mississippi this weekend, I think I was seeing at Mississippi State, Ole Miss, they're seating over 10,000 down there. So, obviously they're loving some baseball down there. If Tennessee is putting in the effort and stuff like that, the fans will support it. And, somebody made the comment earlier how this baseball team has rejuvenated its fan base. And, people on the outside do not get it. And they don't get what Tennessee football fans have been. And, it's obviously baseball, but it kind of relates back. Going back to 2008 and on, there's been maybe a year or two it was all right there. But it's just been tough. And, the fans, basketball's had some decent years here and there, but basketball, it was a tough year this year. And started off a lot of potential, and then it just fell off down the stretch. But this baseball team has rejuvenated this fan base. I don't think there's any doubt about it. One of my goals when I came back on this podcast, I was hoping we would be able to cover baseball. And I'll be honest, you guys tuning in, I mean, we hit 100 at one point. Man, who would have imagined? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. You guys give us this opportunity to do this. And we've got to do it a lot here lately. And hopefully we can ride this thing on to Omaha. We'll see how things go this weekend. I know my schedule is a lot less hectic next weekend. But I'm not complaining. I had a really awesome weekend. Being able to do some stuff that we just had been wanting to do and had been able to do. But I don't know what Boogie's got going on this weekend, but I'll definitely try to come live next weekend with you. And, again, my hope is 2 games next weekend and then on to Omaha. And then we'll see how we cover it once it gets to Omaha. We'll go from there. And again, I like this team's possibilities to get there. I just think this team has that it factor. They're never out of it. Again, are they the best team in the nation? I don't know. But I'm going to say they're not right now. But could they win it? Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And but you're going to have to go through Arkansas. Vandy's come back and taken a 5-3 lead right now. I think when it comes down to it, I'm curious to see how much of the field is from the SEC. I think there's a good chance of possibly 5 teams from the SEC going to Omaha. I think that Arkansas, Vanderbilt, I think both Mississippi teams, and I think Tennessee all have good chances of getting there. Obviously, LSU and Tennessee both can't go because if LSU gets through Oregon, then they're going to have to get through Tennessee as well. But I'd say, Miles, I had it turned on. I've been watching Vandy. I was wanting to tune in here, actually. So I'm glad you mentioned that again because I want to see Oregon and Gonzaga play right here. So, again, I watched Oregon and Gonzaga last night, and Oregon can hit. They can hit. So you're going to have your A-game pitching. It's just like this weekend. And ESPN app's not really updated unless I'm just missing it somewhere. Oh, well, I'll catch it here after a while. But Tennessee, again, big time what they've done for this fan base. It's rejuvenated. I would venture to say that there's not a better atmosphere in college baseball right now. I don't know. I may be wrong, but, Lindsey Nelson's rocking. Fans are, if any of you guys look at like VAWLS Shop or Fanatics or anything like, you can't hardly get any Tennessee baseball merchandise right now. It's going hot. The hats are sold out. I was lucky to get one of the solid gray ones. I'd actually ordered the gray with the orange bill. And when I got it, it basically hovered over my head. So I had to send it back. And once I sent it back, then, there was, once I sent it back, it was out of style. Dolly Parton Field, good grief. Well, we've got 2 foul poles, so that's pretty good. I guess we'd have to do with the 2 foul poles instead of the 2 pitchers' mounds right there. But still 1-0 LSU. LSU, I think I saw some people maybe predict them to come out of that region right there. But, I don't know. That's, again, it's hard to beat a team twice. West Coast game. Yeah, West Coast game. You never know about these West Coast games and stuff. But let's see. Best Tennessee team since 94, 95. Yeah, they said tonight. And 2005, since Tennessee's been to the Super Regional, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Georgia Tech that year. Won some games in the College World Series. I think 94, 95 was around the time of Helton and R.A. Dickey, if I'm not mistaken. Had a good team that year. I think Cal State Fullerton was a team that year. It's when they had Mark Kotze. That was a strong, strong team. Tennessee could not get through them. And R.A. Dickey, I think that was before R.A. Dickey was a knuckleballer, too. He went to that later on, but he was a Tennessee ace, went pretty high in the draft. But baseball team proves you can win with alternate uniforms. Yeah, they've won plenty of times this year with those smoky grays. So, that traditional. And, I say it again, traditional, it's kind of funny. A lot of when people highlight the people that are kind of the ones that the traditionalists, but all people saying, well, yeah, Drew Gilbert needs to act like he's been there and stuff. No, he doesn't. He hasn't been there. He hasn't hit a walk-off grand slam in a regional. Okay? Have some common sense, guys. Again, if you're upset at players celebrating, if you're upset at guys having fun, just tune out. Okay? Don't watch it. I would hate to know I went through life just getting upset over kids having fun playing a game. And you see it both sides. Guys getting fired up. I mean, I was watching Vandy, man. They're getting fired up. Who's going to get – because I can't stand Vanderbilt, am I going to get mad at them? Nope, they're playing the way it should be. And something that bothered me to no end last year, and I've referenced Atlanta Braves, they were a team that had fun, but in that Game 7 against the Dodgers, after Cody Bellinger hit that go-ahead bomb and the Braves come in, they were dead in the dugout. This Tennessee team, I compare to that. There is no way you're going to see Tennessee just sitting over their beat with deer in headlight looks on their faces. And that bothered me there. Yeah, that's all right, Terry. That's fine to be a traditionalist. I have no problem with that. And there's a lot of stuff I don't like to see change as well. I've come around to some stuff. I used to be against the DH. Now I'm good in Major League with them getting rid of it because I thought it made it more fun last year. Exactly, Aaron Stewart. I said the exact same thing. If you don't get excited in that situation, you don't have a pulse. And I know when Drew Gilbert hit that home run Friday night, I probably scared my wife and all of our animals. And, heck, my neighbors probably heard it. And I yelled to top of my lungs when I did the video. My voice was struggling at that point. But I said it at that point, too. I told the wife, I said, well, I'm sorry I scared you. I said, but I'm not either. I said, I need to turn my fan card in. If I would have just clapped and said, good job, Drew Gilbert, way to hit it, I would have turned my fan card in that night. That was that's probably one of the biggest moments in Tennessee baseball history as far as single game moments right there. And, I've seen people complain it was only number 9 on the Sports Center top 10. The fact that it even made the Sports Center top 10 was pretty cool, I think. Now, obviously I'm biased. There was probably something in the NBA playoffs or NHL playoffs or something that went ahead of it, but whatever, it still made it. And, I don't know the last time Tennessee baseball has made an ESPN top 10. Not that I'm worried about ESPN, but still. Yeah, exactly. Had no problem with Gilbert not going to be. You never know, man. Gilbert's sort of sophomore. I'm not sure if he's COVID sophomore, true sophomore. I'm still not really up to date on all that. And again, I've said it before. It's ESPN Plus, guys, and any of you guys that's tuned into it and stuff, or just even with the ESPN app, a lot of it you're able to get through the ESPN app this weekend where it's on ESPN3 and watch ESPN. But, this ESPN Plus where I'm paying basically $5, $5.46 per month is what I'm paying for. It is worth absolutely every penny of it because with our service, I get the MLB app, but I'm blacked out on all the Braves games, which is ridiculous unless they're on the main ESPN or the main Fox. So, I was thinking, well, I don't have much baseball to watch this year. We've never really been able to watch Tennessee baseball unless they made it to an SEC tournament, a regional, a super regional, something like that. And a lot of times it was super regional. You just kind of had to keep up with them one way or another. But, the fact that we've gotten pretty much every game this year. The only game I can remember I could not find is when Tennessee played at Charlotte. And didn't miss much that night because Charlotte really took it to Tennessee. But, man, it's again, that ESPN Plus has been worth every penny of it. It's gotten us, so many games we've been able to watch it live. And it's college baseball is a blast, man. It is an absolute blast. I've watched more college baseball this year than I ever have. It's not because I've never wanted to. It's because we haven't had the access to it. And, I've watched plenty of Vandy games. I've watched that's probably the two teams I've watched the most. And, as much as I don't like Vandy, I respect the hell out of that program. And they're a fun team to watch, especially when they're getting beat. They're fun to watch. But Disney, there's the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu package as well. But just fun here. And I expect, I just hope they're not on ESPN. next week. For some reason, that's the only one I cannot get. When it's on ESPNU, I can't get that, but I can get all the other ESPNs. But thank you. Yeah, man, we have enjoyed this baseball coverage. And, we kind of tested it out earlier in the year. We were on it from the first weekend. We kind of played it in. It was the Rocky Top Review. We played it where we could cover football news, we could cover basketball, but also was able to bring in baseball and stuff. That was the weekend Tennessee played at Georgia Southern. You had the first of a few of the big Drew Gilbert bat flips, which was awesome that weekend. And it just kind of took off from there. The better they got, the more coverage it enabled for us to where, we were able to go live after each game of the SEC tournament. We stated it coming in this weekend. We would have loved to have come in this weekend after every game, but it just wasn't possible. We was able to go tonight. Oh, come on, man. This is the best channel besides – we got VAWLS beat. I used to be a member on – I'm actually a member on 247. I enjoy 247. Used to be a VAWLS member. Changed a long time ago, but you can't go wrong with either site. Great coverage from both sides, guys, at football, baseball, basketball. I think each side's kind of got tuned in with baseball. VAWLS is definitely, they made the trip last weekend. I know that they've been covering. They went to South Carolina, so they've been on the coverage and stuff too. They've provided a lot of people that cover, and we're trying to provide the best we can. Obviously, we're not insiders; we're fans, but we have really loved this. This has been cool, and hopefully, this wave keeps on going for a couple more weeks. But we're at about an hour and 2 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. If you guys get a chance, check out our merchandise. It's scrolling across the bottom there. We'll have links are in the description. We'll have new logo coming out probably closer to football season this fall. We'll be bringing you stuff this week. I know Boogie will have some football videos going on this week. There will be, I'm going to preview, depending on whether it's Oregon or LSU. I want to break that down. I want to look at both teams, kind of see what their strengths and weaknesses are before I preview it. And, we'll see. We'll see where it goes this week, but we'll definitely try to keep you guys updated. I'm hoping at some point we kind of mentioned a fall of Tennessee football series. I was really hoping to get into that after we did the 98 National Championship preview. But, baseball's been red hot. We've been on that. That's kind of taken our focus here lately. But Boogie's carried football coverage. A lot of good recruiting stuff. I'm sure he'll have some more stuff this week. I don't want to put him on the spot or anything, but I would imagine there'll be some stuff coming out of the camps this weekend in Knoxville. I'll have baseball preview for you this week. And, if there's anything newsworthy with basketball, obviously, big news with the SEC waiving the one-time transfer rule this week, which will make Justin Powell immediately ineligible. That'll come in handy in football as well. But, I keep saying it. Hopefully this wave keeps going. We can keep covering this for 2 more weeks, but we'll definitely be back next weekend with coverage, whether it's against Oregon or LSU. I don't have a preference. I don't care. Bring it. I said it Friday night. I'll say it again. I feel the curse of Tennessee athletics has been lifted. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We've had an awesome broadcast, and you guys have helped make that. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good Monday, and go VAWLS. Beat Oregon or beat LSU, and let's get to Omaha.